Okay, thank you everybody for joining the demo session for SAP Design Studio. So before starting, let's explore the data source. The data source we will talk about is this is a multi-provider, and multi-provider is a sort of view based on info cubes, info sets, and some other objects. So this is the SAP demo data source. So let's explore it and how we can explore the data or add the data source. So this is we go to the add data source. If we need to see the connections, so we can connect with the ECC, we can connect with HANA, we can connect with the NetWeaver. And NetWeaver is in fact the SAP BW. So let's connect with the BW. Okay. So there are different data sources. So let's try to browse it. So you may have the folders, the info area, and the roles, and you can search it. So let's try to find the data source provided by search it. So we got this data source. Okay. So let's start a new application. Name it demo. Let's start with blank template. Yeah. So this is basically the starting point. We have different components. On the left, we have analytical components. In the analytical components, we have chart, cross tab, dimension filter, and some other, and some basic components. Here we have button, chart type, checkbox, and many others. And there are containers. If you want to like put certain components in a structured way, so then you're going to use the container. And on the bottom, you see the data sources and some layout and some other stuff. So let's add some data source. We go to the data source. We browse the connection. Again, I'm going to connect with BW. And here I'm going to browse the source. Let's search it. And I'm going to search the same info provider. Let's say okay. You can name it anything. So let's keep the default. So this is the data source. Now if you wish to see what are the contents of the data source, you click here and then go to the edit initial view. This is going to be very interactive session. So if you have any question or any query or any doubt, kindly raise your flag. So I will explain that before going further. So these are the measures. So we can see here like there is a cost in statistics, number of documents, net value, order quantity. And before moving to explore the further measures, let's see the dimensions. So in dimensions we have the years, company code, country, currency, distribution channel, division, info provider, pair, plant, product group, region, sales organization, ship to party, sold to party, unit of measure, value type, and buyer. So if you want to classify this data source, you can say this is the sales by product group, sales by sales organization, sale by distribution channel. So let's go to add this sales organization to the rows. So we have this. So here we see 1514, which is hard to understand. So let's go there and let's click right click on here, and then we need to change the display. So the display should be text. So we should be able to understand something. So the sale organizations is Berlin, London, Paris, New York, San Francisco, and some other. Okay, now let's move to the Mayors. So we see like cost in statistics is 0. So there is no point in having it. So we can remove it. And then number of documents. So sales audit, how many documents we created. So let's remove it. So this is the net value. So this is the, in fact, actual sale which we made. And this is open quantity and some other. So let's try to remove all others. Yeah. So exactly we have the sales organization and the net value. So let's and another interesting thing is if we click here OK plus create cross tab. So this is the quickest way. So let's do it now. So you will see the cross tab is automatically created. Okay, but we don't want to have it. Let's remove it. We will do by or on. So let's start exploring the analytical components. So the first thing let's start with the chart type. Yeah. So when you drag chart to the canvas, so it's giving you some message like there is a data source missing. So there are two or maybe more possible ways to assign the data source. The easiest way is to go to the data source and you drag and drop. The beauty of SAP is like it in most of the situation it provides you the drag and drop, and the other facility it provides the double click. So if you double click it, it gives you some sort of functionality. So this is the one possibility. You can assign the data source. The other one is if you say, if you go to like here, data binding. So you see the data source here as well. Here you also see the data source. So you click here. So you see all the possible data sources which you define in this application. So I'm going to choose this. So I have it. So if you want to see this in action, so you click here. So it will be executed locally. So let's do it. So in just a few seconds, we have a chart of the different sales organization along with this. And you can do like if you click Berlin, you click San Francisco, and you will be having the total of all these three values. Okay, let's go back. Okay, there is a chart type picker. So that's one thing. The other thing is if you go to the chart, here you see the chart type. So basically the default is column, but you will see all the chart types here. If you click on pie, so it will be converted to pie. If you convert to some other, let's say line horizontal, so you see in that way. And if you want to see some other, so you will be having that. So you can change the chart type from here, from the properties. But if you provide the user the facility to change the type, chart type, so you can use the component. So this is the component from where you can pick the chart type. Okay. Okay, let's try to run it. It's not doing anything. What's the reason? The reason is we haven't binded this component with the existing charts. So we have to do that. So let's try to have more real space. So here we have the chart reference. So you click here and we have this chart 1. So we have the association between these two components now. Now let's go to the user behavior, user experience. So if I'm clicking here, so it's a column chart, so it's showing the column chart. If I click here, the bar chart, so it's showing me the bar chart. If I click here, pie chart, so it's showing me the bar. So this is something, the functionality we can provide to the end user. So on the fly, the user can see the different chart type as well. Another thing is like if you want to develop the functionality, like by default, if for Berlin and London, it's a pie chart, and some other you want to see the bar chart. So we can do the conditional visibility as well. So that's something we can do too. Okay. So that's something. Okay. Let's remove it. Let's remove it. Now we have another component which is cross tab. Let's discuss it. Let's assign the data source. Okay. So we did it. If you see, like it's showing like this component is 77 pixels from left, 77 from top, and the total height is 233. The total width is 328. So if you move the component, you will see all the things will change. So this is something, but it's hard to manage. So in the properties, you can define it on your own. Like you can say the top margin is 10, the left margin is 10, rather than keep playing with the mouse and dragging it. And from the bottom we say auto, from the right we say auto. So it depends upon the content. So it will be shrink or expand on its own. And you can define the width and height as well. So this is something. So we can say the width is 300 and the height is, let's say, 220. So that's something which you can play with. Okay, so let's try to know something else. So here is a dimensional filter. So let's try to use it. Okay, so it's asking what's the data source. So I'm going to use the same data source here. Okay, and then this component asking to choose a dimension. So we go here and we pick the dimension, and I'm going to pick the sales organization because in my cross tab I have the sales organization and the net value. So I'm going to use sales organization. Where is that? Yeah, I found it. Okay. Okay, it's also giving me the opportunity to select the target data source. So this filter should apply on which data source, so I can choose it. So, so it's asking like you need to have at least two data sources. So I can do this thing like I'm going to copy and paste. So I have the replica of the source, right? And I'm going to assign the replica to my this new component, and then I'm going to choose the data source, which is okay, and the target data source I'm saying the data source 1, okay, and dimension I'm going to choose the sales organization. Yes. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so from here I can choose Berlin, and I say apply it. So I will see the sales value for Berlin. If I click here, I choose Berlin and Paris, apply. So I will see both. So I can apply the filters as well. Okay. Let's see some other more components. So I have demonstrated chart, I demonstrated cross tab, I shown how we can apply the filter, and some other components like filter. There is a geomap, info chart, navigation panel. Let's try this navigation panel. So navigation panel also asking to assign some source. So we saying this, and we execute it. Okay, so initially I have Myers and the organization. Let's add one more. Let's add country here in the rows, and we refresh it. So you see, because we have fixed this cross tab length to certain width and height, so it remains there. So you need to, it's not visible. So that's the challenge in designing the dashboard. So how you going to consume the real space? So that's the important thing. So let's try to make it usable. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm sorry. I'm going to remove this. Let's move the cross tab a little further. Let's move this navigation a bit above. Move it closer. Go to the properties. So here I'm saying the width is auto and this is height is also auto. So it will be changing on its own. So let's do it now. So let's add the country over here now. Refresh it. So we have country as well now. Let's add the products. So we see the products as well. So if we go to the products, if you want to see the totals, you can add it. So this is something we able to see the navigation panel along with the cross tab. So there is a scorecard, there is a spreadsheet, button, chart type picker, and checkbox, drop down box. You can have icon, you have the image, you have the text box, you have a tree. There are different type of containers. So in the next demo, I will try to demonstrate how we can use the page book. So page book, it's just sort of, it's similar with the book where you have different pages and on each page you can show something. So that's my next demonstration. So I'm going to close this. No, I don't want. So in this demonstration I have a page book. On the first page, I have a cross tab which you see here. And on my second page, I have a chart which you see like here. And on that chart, I have a button which is if you are on the second page and you want to go back on the first page, you can do that. So if I click here, and what you see on this button, if I go to the code, so I'm just saying like on this page book and go to the page index 0, which is your first page. And that's the simple code which I did. And then I used one dimensional filter, and where I'm going to filter the dimensions, and that's it. It's a very simple demo which I prepared, and let's try to run it. Okay, this is the sales organization, the same thing. I have product categories, I have value, open sales order quantity, open order status, product cost, and then some other measures as well. So there is a functionality where you can do the sorting as well. So this is the button where you can do the sorting. This is the default behavior. Okay, you can filter it basis on this country. So I can click here. I want to see the Germany and France. I apply it. So I see only France and Germany, Berlin. So I can sort this cross tab on the basis of the country. Okay, so that's this is the first page. No, I want to go to the second page. So if you click here, so this is for Paris. So on Paris, you see all the products and their sales value. I go back. No. If you click the in Paris the mobile devices. So if you click here, you see in Paris mobile devices PDA standard and PDA professional, and that's it. So it's a very simple dashboard giving you the current state of affairs. So how many open orders, what's the open order quantity, what's the product cost, what's the net value, and some other things. So on the basis of this, we can do the filtering based on the country. And if we want to see the further details, we can drill down based on the sales organization, and we can drill down based on the product category. So this is something I demonstrated. So we can create as complex or as beautiful or as nice dashboard as we wish to have. So there is no limit. So it's all up to the requirement and the skill set someone can have. So that's it from my side. So if you have any question, I'm open to answer. Thank you.